Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Just Daf It. Today's Daf is Nedarim Daf Nun Aleph 51. Great share for you today. We're going to talk about laughter. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? An interesting character, this Bar Kapara guy. And we'll talk some more Mishnayos on Amud Beis about fish. All those pescatarians out there will still eat fish, even though they won't eat meat. Let's get started. Then Aleph and Beis on the bottom, the three last lines, 2 dots. Yoma demachich bei Rebbe. The day that Rebbe laughed, Asya pornaso la'alma. Happened to be whenever he laughed. He was a very serious person, Rebbe. Right when he died, he said he stuck all 10 fingers, and he says, "I didn't get any hanaf from this world." So if he would laugh, he would have levity, cause calamity to befall the world. Only Bar Kapara lo tavdicha. Don't make me laugh. Bar Kapara was a comedian apparently. But I'll give you 40 measurements, a lot of wheat. Mar. He said to him, okay, but see the chol griva, top of nanalef, va'ina shakilna. Whatever measurement I decide, right? Not like 40 grams. We'll talk about 40 kilos of wheat or something like that. Whatever measurement I decide, I get. Shakal dikula rabba. So he took a big basket. Chafye kufra. Apparently there were holes in the basket, so he covered them with tar, so none of the wheat will get out. But chasachfe al reshe. He turned the basket. Now I don't think there's anything in the basket, but he turned the basket on his head. Imagine taking a laundry basket and putting on your head. But azav amrle leichel limar bon grevichiti the rashina bach. So I held up to my promise. I didn't make you laugh the past day. So I wanted measurements from this basket. Now, he was a comedian, so he couldn't do anything without making a joke out of it. So he put the basket upside down to show that no matter how much wheat you put in, you're going to still have to put more. And he did on his head, apparently. So therefore, Achach Rebbe laughed. He lost all the wheat. Was it worth it? I'm lav as hartach lo tevatchan. I warned you that you shouldn't make me laugh. I'm chiti darshina kana sivna. He said, yeah, I kept my word. And I'm just coming to collect my wheat. It's your fault that you laughed at this joke. You have to get a better sense of humor. Amalei Bar Kapara Labarte the Rebbe. We'll find more about this character, Bar Kapara. Bar Kapara said to the daughter of Rebbe, L'macha shasina chamra barikuda da'avuch. Remember yesterday he forced Rebbe to invite him to his son's wedding. He says, tomorrow at the wedding, I'm gonna drink wine, barikuda da'avuch, while your father dances in front of you, while Rebbe dances in front of you, and when your mother sings. Some ask, how could your mother sing? Kol Isha. But as I said many times, all the Gemara says in Mesechus Brachos is Kol Isha Erva. It's Erva that you can't say Kriya Shema when she's singing. There's no Isser to listen to a woman singing. It's true. All right. So, according to the majority of posting, that's not true what I said. But it seems to be that's the pashas of the Gemara in Mesechus Brachos and Daf Chav Dalet. Ben Alasha, more about this family, interesting family. Ben Alasha, Chasnei the Rebbe. He was married to the daughter of Rebbe. But Asher Godel, he was very rich. Azmanei lebehi lulav the Rebbe Shimon Rebbe. He was invited to this wedding we talked about yesterday. Shimon and son of Rebbe. Amalei Bar Kapara the Rebbe. At the wedding, Bar Kapara said to Rebbe, "My toeva." And he wanted to fulfill what he told him. He said, "What is the meaning when it says in the Torah toeva in the Torah? Toeva is used. I think he's referencing where it says mishkav zachar, being gay." What does toeva mean? Called Amalei Rebbe, the Hachin who toeva. Rebbe tried to give different explanations. What is the word toeva? What does it connote? Parcha Bar Kapara had a refutation. Amalei Parsheyat. So Rebbe finally gave up. He said, "You tell me, Bar Kapara. Amalei Tesi de Bisri Tirmi Lianat La'achas. Tell your wife to go bring me a cup of wine. Ramulei." So he had the woman, his Rebbe's wife, the Rebbitzin. She was a big chashuv woman. She's pouring him a glass of wine. She's a cocktail waitress. Apparently she sang also from the Gemara before. Ramulei. So she brought it to him. Amalei with the Rebbe, and then he said to the Rebbe, Kumra Kodli. If you want me to tell you the answer, go dance in front of me. The Emerlach. And I'll tell you, Hachi Amar Rahmana, and then he told them, Toeva Toa Ataba. Toa means you're wandering through this thing, you're wandering in the wrong direction. You're going in the wrong direction in life. Lakasa Achrina, when he wanted another cup of wine, Amalei, my tevel. He asked Rabbi, what does the word tevel mean? Tevel is talking about having a relationship, sexual relationship with an animal. Amalei kinyana kadma. Again, he gave answers, but just like before, he tried to give answers, Rabbi, but again, all of them, Bar Kapara refuted. Amalei ividli the Omar lach. Meaning, do the same thing, pour me a cup of wine, and dance in front of me. I'll tell you, Avod, he did his request. Amalei tevel hu tavlin yeshba. Torah is asking, is it extra sweet? Is it extra tasty to be together with an animal? Mishani had a bia min kulun bias, right? Is this bia, being together with an animal, different than all the other bias? You have a lot of women that are mutter. Why do you have to be with an animal? Amalei, well, my zima. So I continue asking, what is the word zima? Zima is a woman who's a prostitute. Amalei ivid kenyana kadma. Again, the same thing happened. He tried answering, and he refuted him. Avod Amalei, he danced in front of him. His wife sang and poured him a drink. Amalei zumahi. What is this? What is a child born out of this relationship? It's it's a bastard child. Not really a bastard child, but if they're not married, but a prostitute having children, it's not a good thing. He couldn't stand it. Ben Elisha was the son-in-law of Rebbe. He couldn't stand to see that Rebbe was embarrassed. Maybe this is the reason Rebbe didn't invite him to the wedding. He said, honey, we're going. He told his wife, let's get out of here. My Ben Elisha. Who is this guy Ben Elisha? We said before he was a very rich person. Tanya, the little china Pizar Ben Elisha as Ma'osav. What was significant Ben Elisha is he spent a lot of money. El Laharos behind his brother Kohen Gadol. Apparently he was a Kohen, I think. He used to get haircuts that the Kohen Gadol should have gotten in the time of his marriage. It says in Yecheskel, by Kohanim, you should have a special haircut. Tana ke'enu lonis. The Brisa says it's like a lulinis, my lulinis. Amar Yehuda tasprasa yechidasa. It's a really unique haircut. Yechidami. How is the haircut done? Amar Rava rosho shel zeb b'sadi karo shel zeb. I know this brother Kohen Gadol. Basically, it's like a fade. However, one hair goes, and where that hair ends, then you have the next hair starting. So it's basically there's only one hair or one set of hairs on each part of the scalp, and where one hair ends, the next one starts. I guess it's kind of a fade. And the Gemara says that's for the Kohen Gadol. It was a very fancy haircut he got also. Obviously, took a lot of time. But Las Ramutza, the Mishnah says that if you take a neder from anything that you'll be towing, anything you'll taste from the Kedera, your mutter and Beitza Termita, and also Dlas Haramutza. My Dlas Haramutza, what is this type of gourd? Amar Shmuel, type of squash. Amar Shmuel, Kara Karkuzai. It's something from Karkuzai. Karkuzai is a place, maybe Kazakhstan. Rav Ashi Amar Dlas Hatzmuna Beremet. He says, no, it's a regular gourd, a regular squash. You just insulate it with coals. Ezi Ravina Rav Ashi, I guess to scald it. Ezi Ravina Rav Ashi, when he asked Rav Ashi, Rab Nechemia Omer Dlas Haramis, he Dlas HaMisras. This is a brisa in Maseches Kilayim. Dlas Haramis, an Aramean Dlas gourd, is the same thing as Dlas HaMisras. Kilayim, both of them are Kilayim Imahiyavanis. If you plant them next to each other, next to a Greek gourd, that's Kilayim. Kilayim Imahiyavanis, Kilayim Marusa. So those two, this Dlas Mitzras, the Egyptian gourd is Kilayim when you plant it with a Dlas Haramutza, Tiyufta. So you see that it's a specific type of Dlas that comes from a specific country. It's not something like Rashi said, it's a regular gourd, right? The general gourd that's grown throughout the world, it's a specific gourd. The Mishnah says, Hanodar Mimaisek Deira. He takes an edda that he's not going to benefit from anything that's made in a pot. In Asr Eli Maiser Ratzchasa. He only meant to include things that are cooked very quickly. Amar Kona Yorelik Deira. If he says anything which goes into it, descends the Deira, shani to'am, that I'm going to taste. Asr B'chol Nasavik Deira, because Yorelik Deira means I'll stay there for as long as I want it to stay. I descend in the Deira. I can stay there for a short time or a long time. So therefore, whether it's slow cooked or fast cooked or medium cooked, it's all Asr. The Gemara says, Tanya, no, they're in a Yorelik Deira. If he says, I'm not getting benefit from Yorelik Deira, Asr Yorelik Ilpis. Shekvar Yorelik Deira, right? We're talking about Yorelik Deira means it descends into the Deira. It's a two-part cooking process. First, you cook it in water, boiling water, and then you fry it in a frying pan. Right, it's a good way to make spare rib if you don't know. You cook it in water, and then when it's cooked, you take and you fry it with oil in a frying pan. It really tastes good. Another Yorelik Deira, also Yorelik Ilpis, Shekvar Yorelik Deira. right? So anything which goes into an ilpis, because generally that's what yored means. It goes into both. Kodem shior the ilpis, ma yor the ilpis. Kodem shior the ilpis, ma yor the ilpis. Motor bior the kdera. Sorry, bior the ilpis. Shikor yor the kdera. Kodem shior the ilpis, because first goes into the pot before it goes into the frying pan. Ma yor the ilpis. Takes an eder. Anything goes into the frying pan. Motor bior the kdera. That it only means that it's possible to just fry something. So therefore, if it goes into the pot, it's not usher. I mean, anasib there. If you say something was made in the pot, mutter benasib ilpis, then some things are entirely made in the pot. So therefore, things which are just made in a frying pan, like eggs or something like that. So that's your mutter. I mean, anasib ilpis. If you say something which is entirely made in the ilpis, a frying pan, mutter benasib there, because that is made in a frying pan. This is made in a pot. Another in a yori letanor. He takes another anything which goes in, descends into an oven, ain't usher el pas. We'll see in the next Mishnah. If you don't say something specific, you generally go at the neder only includes the thing which is most common to go into the oven. Most people put bread in their oven. Amar kol ma'aseh tanur Allah. He includes everything, asher b'chol nasim tanur, anything which is made in the oven, right? Whether you want to cook your fish or you want to make some cookies, it doesn't make a difference. Everything is asher. The Mishnah in an aleph on the base, minakavush and asher elam minakavush. You say it in general, something which is pickled. And asher elam minakavush shel yarach. Normally, when you pickle something, you pickle vegetables. So pickling salami would not be included. Kavush shani toim. However, if you include it, you say kavush shani toim. Any kavush that I taste, asher b'chalak vush, anything which is pickled, right, which is kept with spices and water for a 24-hour period, is asher. Min hasholok. He takes another. He doesn't want to get benefit. Thing which is meat, which is slow cooked, and also element of shalak shel basar. The only thing which is normally slow cooked is meat, shalom meat. Shalak shani toim, if he makes an inclusive statement, asar b'chal shlukim, he's asar anything which is slow cooked, even if it's slow cooked an egg or something like that. Gemara, pasta. Amar lei Rav Acha braid Rav Aviel Rav Ashi. Amar the kavish mai, the shalik mai, the sali mai, the meliach mai. Heichen mashma tiboy. The Gemara says instead of saying ha kavush with a hey, he says di or sheh kavush. That is kavush. Does that mean like the ratio of the Mishnah, that he's specifying the most commonly thing which is, salted or pickled, or does he mean to say anything like the sefer of the Mishnah? So the Gemara says, Tibaya, we're not really sure. We don't have an answer to that question. And I guess subject daraisa l'chumra, daraisa. The Mishnah says minatzali and aser ella minatzli shel basar. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. The Mishnah says if you say anything which is sli, which is grilled, and also sli shel basar, only grilled meat. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, sli shani toim. Again, if he says more inclusive, also b'chal sliim, anything which is grilled, even grilled vegetables, it's also mina meliach, something which is salted. Ain't also elam mina meliach shel dag. Normally, you salt fish. Meliach shani toim. He includes anything which is salted. Also b'chal meluchim, anything which is salted. Dag dagim shani toim. He makes an inclusive statement. Dag and dagim. Right? Dag we'll see is small fish and big fish. We'll see dag dagim. Dag is a singular fish, dagim is plural fish. So he's obviously including a lot of things in his nether. So he says that, asr b'chol, asr b'hani, asr in any type of fish, ben gdol and ben when they're bigger than they're small, ben meluchim and when they're salted or not salted, ben chayim and mavushalim, when they're raw or they're cooked. A mutter b'tari is trufa, however, nonetheless, he's still mutter in herring, basically, which is basically a fish that you already cut up into pieces, and then you prepared it as pieces. It was sear, and with brine. The juice of the fish, or the juice that the fish is pickled in or kept in, that is not actual fish. Hanoder min sachana. Taking neder from sachana is basically a jar of fish which has pieces of fish and also has whole fish in it. Asr b'tari is true, but then he's asr in herring, things like that, which are normally cut up. Umutter b'sira murius, nonetheless he's still mutter b'sira murius. Sir, I guess, is the brine that the fish is held in. Murius is juice that emits from the fish. Hanoder materia is trufa. He takes another from Tiras Shufa explicitly, Asr Basira Murias. According to our Girsa, this he meant to include actually the brine and the fish juice. There's other Girsos that say, the article says Mutter Basira Murias. I'll have to discuss this more at a different time. The Gemara says, Tanya, Rav Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Dag Shani Toim, Asr Bagdol, and Mutter Bagtanim. If he just says, Armish says Dag Dagim, which says Dag, right? So Dag means big fish. I don't know how big a fish. A salmon's a big fish. A small fish would be, I don't know, a sardine. Mutter b'tanim dagash anytime asr b'tanim mutter b'galim. Then he's asr in anchovies, or he's asr in sardines. But mutter b'galim is mutter in the big fish. Dagash anytime. He says both asr and galim b'tanim. He's mutter in all types of fish, whether they're big or small, as long as they're a whole fish, like Mishnah says. How do you know dag? is a reference to a big fish. The pasuk says that when Yonah was swallowed up by the fish, the whale, it says dag gadol. The Sefer dag means a big fish. It says that Yonah afterwards he davened from Hashem from the stomach of the fish. So it's presumably the same fish. The daga doesn't mean small, it means big. Halokash. There's a possibility that he was in two fish. First, a big fish swallowed, and then a small fish swallowed. I don't know. And a small fish, I guess, was big enough to hold Yonah in his stomach. So I guess we have a different understanding what a dag katan is. Maybe a dag gadol is a whale, and a dag katan is a salmon. I don't know. Not a salmon. That's a shark. I don't know. A big shark, hammerhead shark. Ella b'hadaga asher b'yoar mesa, k'tanim mesu g'dolim la mesu. So you're going to say what? Daga, where you assume means a small fish. But it says when there was makas dam in Mitzrayim, daga in the Nile, they died. Only the small fish died, the big fish didn't die. Ela daga mashmak dolam mashmak tanim. Daga could mean both, technically according to the Pesukim. But in Nedarim, you go after what most people say, reference. When they say daga, they mean a small fish. Even though the pasuk, we'll see, I'll talk more about this in Ben Sion, is mashma a little more. That means dagadol, daga. People use it in the context of a small fish. Therefore, that's the understanding when you say that. I know there min hasachana. Amarle Ravina Ravashi. Amaharei al sichin. Sachana is talking about a jar of fish that has. You buy a jar of gefilte fish. Some of it are pieces, some of them are whole ones. So sichin, he says it in lashon plural. Right? Do we assume that he meant to include the sir and murias, the brine and the fish juice also? The Mishnah only says tirias trufa, you include the sir and murias or asr. What about sichin, which is plural? The Gemara says we don't know the answer. Keep on asking the question. We're not really sure until Mashiach comes. We don't know the answer to this question. So therefore, again, it would be savik deraisa l'chumra. The sir and the murias would be asr midaraisa misafik, which according to most poskim really means. And we don't have a clue there's no chazaka, there's no definitive, there's nothing clear at all. It's a suffix in our yediyah, so that, we've mentioned many times, suffix deraisa l'chumra is only a din d'Rabbanan, as opposed to when you have kavua, something which you know is there, it's not so much suffix in our yediyah. We have no way of assessing it, we just don't know the mitzias. Then it could be according to the Rambam, Savdaraisa l'chumra is midaraisa, or the Rashba, even according to the Rambam, Savdaraisa l'chumra is midaraisa, like the Asham Toloi. That's the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian Ben Sion. We talk more about Nedarim halach ha'chalashem and Adam. It's a very important halacha because obviously the Mishnayos talk about cases that we don't really relate to so much. Now, if you think about these Mishnayos as relating to people that are vegans or vegetarians or pescatarians and they don't want to eat certain types of food, it makes a lot more sense, but generally we don't think about it like that. So it's hard to understand what's a big fish, a small fish, not clear a lot of these things. So really, the Gemara is giving you a way out and saying, you go after the way people speak. We'll talk more about that in Ben Sion coming up next.